And we are live. Let me just get things set up, guys. Let's see. Are we live? Hey, Charlotte26 says hello. Hello, Charlotte26. Can you hear me? Let me know in the chat, guys. Can you hear me? And just waiting for things to get set up over on the TikTok as well. I think we're good. There we go. We're back. And we have the software back on the TikTok, so all is good. Charlotte26 says, hear you well, thank you. Happy Friday. Yep, happy Friday to you as well. Happy Friday to you as well. I know for a lot of people, half term's coming to an end. Tyler T says, yes, boss. Come on, Tyler T. Chris TYU says, yeah. Awesome. Naween Eagle says, hi. Maria says, hello, sir. Hello, Maria. Maria says hi to everybody as well. Guys, let's see how many people are on here today. The community's growing. Yesterday, we actually hit a record on the YouTube channel. For anybody who doesn't know, I go live on YouTube and TikTok at the same time, every day, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. But guys, very importantly, over the weekend, the live streams are going to be at a slightly different time. They're going to be higher 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. and foundation 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we're actually going to be doing 2 papers tomorrow and 2 papers on Sunday as well, ahead of our paper 2s on Monday. Nafila in the chat. Hello, Nafila. Welcome. Charlotte26 says, hello, how is everybody doing? Guys, I'm going to give people a few minutes to join, and then we're going to get going. Today, we've got a pretty tricky paper. It's the November 2019 Paper 2 Higher Tier. Zach says, after live streams, are videos available to watch? Yep, every single live is recorded and uploaded straight to the YouTube channel. I actually go live on TikTok and YouTube at the same time, so the live stream goes up straight away. You just have to go over to the live tab on the YouTube channel, and you can find everything over there. Jamil or Jam said something about this half term isn't allowing me to revise. Guys, I know a lot of people are feeling that way. A lot of people are starting to feel a bit of burnout creep in. A lot of people are starting to feel a little bit low motivation moving into the second phase of exam season. Guys, I have to tell you, it is completely natural. Loads of people are feeling that way, and the reason that you're feeling that way is because, guys, exam season is tough. It's long, it's rigorous, and it is tiring. Week after week after week of exams and revision and exams and revision. Guys, it gets to you, it gets tiring. It is normal to get burnout and to start feeling a little bit unmotivated. You have 2 choices. Either when you feel that way, you decide to stop revising, put your feet up, and kind of coast the rest of exam season. Or you have the choice to dig in, really put in the work, and motivate yourself through discipline instead of motivation. It's easy to revise when you feel like it. It's very difficult to revise when you don't feel like it. That, guys, is where the discipline comes in, and that is where you really start to pull ahead and make those big gains. So if you are feeling unmotivated, guys, super natural. Everybody goes through it. I went through it. The question is, what do you do in that situation? Do you keep giving it your best shot, or do you kind of roll over and let it get to you? NJ said, just 2 weeks left, guys. We can do it. Yep, that is exactly the energy. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's a challenge, but you're definitely capable. And then you have the summer of your lives ahead of you. So, yeah, that's a little bit of motivation. Aronya said, can you do a higher paper? Yep, we're going to be doing a higher paper today. We're going to be doing the EdXL November 2019 Paper 2 Higher Tier. We're going to be starting in just a couple of minutes. Somebody in the comments saying, will you consider continue your lives next year? Yep, I will. Yep, I will. I'll be back probably around exam season. Maybe I'm going to do some throughout the year next year as well. I need to decide what I'm going to do with that. I might also be doing my GCSE statistics, my GCSE additional maths. I need to kind of figure out what I'm going to do next year. Lily said, I'm doing foundation though. In that case, Lily, maybe stick with us for the first 10 questions. I think it's the first 10 in this paper that are going to be the overlap ones, and then maybe leave, because then we'll be in the higher only content. But the start of the higher paper is in the foundation paper, the same way that the end of the foundation paper is in the higher paper. So the first few questions will definitely still be good practice. Nice to have you on, Daniela. Nice to have you on, Hamza. Nice to have you on, Big B. The YouTube gang is here strong. Kean Buckley said, let's go. Yep, I've just seen, guys. It is 5:05. So we're going to get cooking. First off, we have this question, only 2 marks up for grabs, and I know a lot of you guys might consider leaving for this one because you think you need the paper printed off, but you absolutely do not need the paper printed off, so don't use that as an excuse. Guys, let me know in the chat, what are the 2 mistakes with this frequency polygon? I'm going to give you about 30 seconds. A says, is this video going to be recorded for YouTube later? Yep, I'm actually live on YouTube and TikTok at the same time right now. 270 of us on the TikTok and 21 of us on the YouTube. And all of the live streams are recorded and they go straight up on the YouTube channel. Quite a few people dropping an answer in the chat. Chloe says connected. James says connected. Anybody else? Daniela says not meant to be connected. Yep, you are exactly right, guys. That is going to be our first mistake. What's the name here? The name is Iveta. We're told that Iveta drew this frequency polygon for the information in the table, and the frequency polygon is not correct. Write down 2 things that are wrong with the frequency polygon. The first one, guys, is that it should not be connected at the bottom. So should not be connected at the bottom. That is going to be our first mistake. Quite a few people dropping another answer in the chat. And you are right if you're saying that this point is plotted incorrectly. So we can just say this point is wrong. Why is that point wrong? Well, guys, the group 10 to 20 should have a frequency of 6. But if we zoom in here, we can see that they've actually done a frequency of 8 for this one. So that point is plotted incorrectly. Quite a few people were also saying that the y-axis is not labeled. Y-axis not labeled. And guys, if you were saying that, you are also exactly right. So you don't need to write all 3. You could just write 2 of them. That is going to be absolutely fine. Any 2 of those 3 will be okay. Guys, I'm going to move on to the next page now. 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to questions number 2 and 3. We have a 2 marker up at the top and a 4 marker down at the bottom. I'm going to be pushing the YouTube again today, seeing how many people we can pull over from the TikTok. We have 360 of us watching on the TikTok right now, and only 22 of us on the YouTube. I'm going to be switching between the 2 chats today, so if I do miss any of your comments, I'm sorry. It's probably because I'm looking at the other chat. Oh, thank you. Good shout, good shout. Thank you, Expo. Yeah, there you go. Question 2's on there properly now. Sorry about that. HM says, are you going to be doing foundation today? Today is a higher paper. We're actually doing the EdXL November 2019 paper 2 higher tier. NJ thinks this one's between 127.5 and 128.5. Guys, let's have a look at question number 2. This one says, let me just move my microphone a little bit out of the way. There we go. This one says that the length of a pencil is 128 millimeters, correct to the nearest millimeter. Complete the error interval for the length of the pencil. Guys, what are we going to do here to find the error interval? Well, we're going to need to find the smallest number, which rounds up to 128, and the biggest number, which rounds down to 128. What's it going to be in this case, guys? We're going to simply add and subtract 0.5 to 128. For our lower bound, we're going to get 127.5, and that's going to be less than or equal to our length, which is less than 128.5. Now, the reason that we have the less than or equal to sign here and just the less than sign here is because we recognize that 127.5 would actually round up to 128, but 128.5 would not round down to 128. Instead, the number, or the biggest number I should say, which would actually round down would be 128.49999999999, but it's not very practical to write that. So instead, we have the less than sign and just the 0.5. Now, I thought I'd explain that. It does tell you in the question that it's a less than or equal to and the less than sign, but it's still good to understand because they're not always going to give you that. Guys, question number 3 on the screen. 4 marks up for grabs here, I'm pretty sure. Yep, 4 marks up for grabs. I'm going to give you about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to go through it. Looking at the YT chat. Hey, Lils, good to have you on. Oh, Lil said higher on TikTok. It says foundation is at 6 p.m. today. Is that correct? It shouldn't say that anywhere. It shouldn't say that. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Yeah, so that's supposed to say tomorrow. High is 3 till 5 and foundation 6 till 8. Okay, guys. Question number 3. I'm going to give you another minute or so for this one. Hey, Sister Vlog 777 says, hi, it's Nafila from my sister's account. Hey, cool. Welcome. NJ says, Tom buys 18 stamps. What do we reckon, guys? Question number 3. Drop ready in the chat when you're ready for this one, and we'll talk about it. Question number 3. Quite a long one here. 4 marks up for grabs. Ghost says, isn't the first few questions foundation as well? Yep. First few are foundation as well. This one's one of the overlap ones, for example. I think it's up to question 10 in this paper. Okay, Danielle is ready. Smoky Clips is ready. Quite a few people are ready. Let's have a look at question number 3. This one says that Tom and Adam have a total of 240 stamps. We're told that the ratio of the number of Tom stamps to the number of Adam stamps is 3 to 7. Tom buys some stamps from Adam. The ratio of the number of Tom stamps to the number of Adam stamps is now 3 to 5. How many stamps does Tom buy from Adam? You must show all your working. Guys, what we're going to do is we're going to find the number of stamps that they both have before. We're going to find the number of stamps that they both have after. And based on that, we're going to work out how many Tom must have bought from Adam. What about the number of stamps before? We know that there's 240 stamps in total, and they're in the ratio 3 to 7. We're going to start off by finding our total number of parts, so we can do 3 plus 7 equals 10 parts in our ratio. Then we can do our total number of stamps, 240, divided by our number of parts, 10, to work out that there are 24 stamps per part in that ratio. Where can we go from there? Well, we know that Tom has 3 parts, so we can say Tom has 3 times by 24, because 1 part is 24, and Tom has 3 parts. 3 times 24, guys, that is going to be 72. Next up, what about the number that Adam has? Well, Adam has 7 parts, so we're going to do 7 times by 24, and that, guys, is going to be 168. Let me just double check that. Don't want to make any silly mistakes. Yeah, 168, perfect. Now what about afterwards, guys? Afterwards, we're in the ratio 3 to 8. So we're going to work out our total number of parts again. We're going to do 3 plus 5, which is equal to 8. I meant to say 3 plus 5 there, and 3 plus 5 equals 8. So we have 3 plus 5 equals 8 parts in total. Working out the value of 1 part, guys, we're going to do the total number of stamps, 240, divided by 8, our number of parts, to work out that there are 30 stamps per part, and definitely do all these calculations on your calculators, guys. 30 stamps per part. How many parts does Tom have? Tom has 3 parts, and each part is worth 30. 3 times 30 is going to be 90. What about Adam? Adam has 5 parts, so we can do 5 times by 30 stamps per part, and that, guys, is going to be 150. From there, guys, we can see what the difference is. Before, Tom had 72, and now Tom has 90, so he's increased by 18. Therefore, he must have bought 18 stamps from Adam. We could have also done it by working out how many Adam decreases by. He decreases by 18 from 168 to 150. Either way, guys, we're going to get 18 stamps as our answer. Looking at the chats now, guys. Nicely done, Smoky Clips. Nicely done, Eva. Nicely done, Nafila. Guys, to anybody who got that one, superb job. What about over on the TikTok? What are we saying? Let's see. Urza said, for your next live, can you put a stopwatch on each question? That's a great idea. That's a great idea. The thing is, I did play around with that before, but it was just super annoying to switch between the stopwatch and the chat and the stopwatch and the chat and starting and stopping. So it was a little bit smoother without. It's a great idea, though. Mahima said, I read it a few times. and didn't. Okay, I can't actually read that because it's behind something, but hopefully it made sense anyway after I explained it. Guys, 5 seconds to screenshot this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 4, guys. Today, we're going to be working at a pretty healthy pace. We're going to be finishing this paper, I'd guess, at about 6:30. Might be a little bit later. Might be a little bit earlier. ... says, I'm currently having a Subway sandwich. Hey, very nice, very nice. Hopefully you got something nice in there. What's your Subway order? What's the go-to Subway order? Guys, it's off the screen again. Sorry about that. I need to get sorted with this. For some reason, my iPad's playing up a little bit. Like, it keeps moving around on the screen. Hopefully that's clear, though, now. Man like user123456 said, hi, sir. Sorry I'm late. I had a haircut. Hey, nice. Hopefully, I actually need a haircut, to be honest, guys. I need a haircut. I'm waiting till I next go near where my barber's is. Layla said, is this a higher paper? Yes, Layla, this is a higher paper. Pink Bow said, I hope paper 2 goes well because paper 1 was so bad. Yeah, I know a lot of people are feeling that way. A lot of people are feeling that way. And I can verify, guys, especially the Edexcel higher papers, the paper ones were pretty difficult. Pretty difficult. Guys, to anybody watching on the TikTok, consider coming over to the YouTube. We're live on both at the moment. Yesterday, we hit a record on the number of people on the YouTube. I think we got up to over 50 at the peak, and the average was about 40. Hopefully, we're going to smash that today. We're already up to 40 of us on the YouTube. Towards the back end of this stream, I might end the TikTok one and continue on YouTube only, or I'll just be focusing on the YouTube chat. Either way, guys, it's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. All of the chats are recorded on YouTube as well, which is really nice because it means in the recording, in the playback, when people watch it, you can see your own comments, which I think is pretty cool. Tom Chalmers says, on the YouTube, baby. Come on. Guys, question 4. Let's have a look at this one. What's it going to be? This says that each person in a fitness club is going to get a free gift. Stan is going to order the gifts. Stan takes a sample of 50 people in the fitness club. He asks each person to tell him the gift they would like. The table shows information about his results. We're told that there are 700 people in his fitness club, and we're asked to work out an estimate for how many sports bags he should order. It doesn't say the word estimate there, but I added that in because it is technically an estimate. Guys, what are we going to do? This is effectively a relative frequency question. We're going to use our information in our table to work out the fraction of people who would like a sports bag. We can see that 17 of the people that Stan chose would like a sports bag, and he chose 50 people in total. That implies that the fraction of people who would prefer a sports bag is 17 over 50 of the total amount. So we're going to find 17 over 50 of the total number of people in the fitness club. We're going to do 17 over 50 times by 700. 17 over 50 times by 700. That, guys, is going to be 238, our answer to that one. Nicely done, Jack Meads. Nicely done, OGPK. Superb work, guys. Nicely done, Maria. Nicely done, Oliver White. Nicely done, Hamza. You guys on the YouTube are doing bits. LOSGO just said, came from the TikTok. Come on, welcome to the community. Welcome. Guys, question 4II. This one says, write down any assumption you made and explain how this could affect your answer. This, guys, is a really typical question in these relative frequency questions. The thing that we assumed was that our sample up here was representative of the overall population. So the thing that we assumed was, we assumed the sample was representative of, let's say, everyone. And then for the explanation of how it would affect your answer, it's simply going to be that if it isn't representative, then you'd have a biased sample. So if it isn't representative, then you would have a biased answer. What does it mean for the sample to be representative? It basically means that these 50 people paint an accurate picture of the overall 700 people in the fitness club. So that's That's going to be what we mean over there by being representative. Guys, 5 seconds to screenshot this one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 5. This one, guys, I'm just going to do very quickly. I'm going to ask you all to spam your answers in the chat. First off, we want to write down the letter of the graph that could have the equation y equals x cubed. Guys, is it going to be A? Is it going to be B, C, D, E, or F? What do we reckon? Part A, guys, drop your answer in the chat. Meh thinks it's F. Hamza says F. Hanjiun says F. Kai Senat, oh, if it was a real one, that'd be cool, says F. Guys, if you said F, you would be exactly right. The answer to this one is going to be F. This is our y equals x cubed graph. It starts off down here on the bottom left, comes up steeply, gets less steep towards 0, 0, and then gets steep again up to the top right. Guys, what about this next one? Y equals 1 over f. Again, 1 over f, 1 over x, I should say. Again, drop your answer in the chat for me. What's it gonna be? Hamza says D. Sister Vlogs, I'm just going to say Sister Vlogs, even though I know it's actually Unifila, says D. Chocolate says D. Hanjun says D. AW says D. Guys, if you said D, you are exactly right. That is our reciprocal graph. Not to get confused, guys, with C, this one would be y equals minus 1 over x. We can see that it's reflected in the x-axis or the y-axis, you could say. But either way, answer to this one, guys, is going to be D. We're going to move on to keep things swift. To anybody who doesn't have the paper printed out or doesn't have pen and paper, try and do this one in your head, although it would be pretty difficult without pen and paper. Guys, question 6, let's have a look at this one. Quite a few questions in the chat about that previous one, saying what would be the equation for B. You don't have to worry about that one. That's actually not in the GCSE spec. So that's technically a cubic. It would be something like y equals x times by x plus 2 times by x minus 2. You don't have to worry about that, though, because it's outside of the GCSE spec. So they just kind of want you to use process of elimination there. They would never ask you to identify which one B was, if that makes sense. LQ says, is it higher today? Yes, we're on the higher today. And guys, for anybody who doesn't know, I'm actually live on YouTube at the same time as being live on TikTok. The YouTube family is growing, up to 55 of us watching at the moment. I think that might be another record, even higher than yesterday. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Question 6, guys. Drop ready in the chat when you're ready for this one. Daniela said, what was that topic called? If you mean for the previous question, question number 5, that was identifying graphs. Chocolate said, because we are coming from the TikTok. Yeah, come on. That's good. I was kind of saying it a little bit of time ago, like a few days ago, and not many people came over. So awesome that people are starting to come over. I think it's good over here, especially because the chat's recorded. Okay, guys, I've seen a lot of people dropping ready in the chat. Guys, let's have a look at question number 6. What's it going to be? This one says the nth term of one sequence is 2n squared minus 1. The nth term of another sequence is 40 minus n squared. We're asked to show that there is only one number that is in both of these sequences. What are we going to do, guys? We're going to work out the first few terms of this sequence and the first few terms of this sequence and check when we get a number which is in both of them. So, finding our first term, what are we going to do? We're going to substitute n equals 1 into both of our formulas, or both of our nth terms, I should say. Let me just put a little ... down here. On the left-hand side, we're going to substitute n equals 1 into 2n squared minus 1. So we're going to have 2 times by 1 squared minus 1. You can do that on your calculator, guys. It would turn into 1. We can find the second term. We're going to substitute n equals 2 in this time. So we're going to do 2 times by 2 squared minus 1. 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8 minus 1 is going to be 7, guys. We can work out our third term. This time we're going to substitute n equals 3 in, so we're going to have 2 times by 3 squared minus 1. Again, you can do this on your calculator. It would turn into 17. Number 4, guys, we're going to substitute 4 in this time. That would be 31. Yep, that would be 31. This time we're going to sub 5 in, guys. 2 times by 5 squared minus 1. That would be 49. And now let's find some of our terms in our other sequence. Substituting n equals 1 into the second sequence, we're going to have 40 minus 1 squared. That's going to be 39. You guys can definitely do this on your calculators. 40 minus 2 squared, that's going to be 36. Substituting this time n equals 3 in, 40 minus 3 squared, that is going to be 31. Next up, substituting n equals 4 in, that is going to be 24. Next up, 5. We're going to do 40 minus 5 squared. That, guys, is going to be 15. From this, guys, we can pretty quickly see that we have one term which is in both of these sequences. It's going to be our 31. We can also see that this sequence on the left-hand side is increasing. And this sequence on the right-hand side is actually decreasing. The fact that this one is increasing and the fact that this one is decreasing means that there's also going to be no more opportunities for us to have the same number in both of the sequences. So that one number, 31, which is in both, is going to be the only number which is in both of our sequences. Guys, looking at the chat now, how did we find that one? I've not been looking for a while. Let's see. Nightclimb says we are substituting numbers into the nth term. Then you find the number that's in both sequences. Thank you. I'm guessing you were answering somebody else's question there. D said that one was good. Aliyah said that one was good. Hey, good to see. Ramat said, is there a shorter way? Not for this one. Z, great question, said, can you not just make them equal to each other? Guys, start answering question 7 now for me, and I'm going to answer that question because that's a superb question. So, let me just line this up perfectly. Yeah, guys, start working on question number 7, and I'm going to answer that previous question. So, in this case, you actually couldn't set them equal to each other. You actually couldn't set them equal to each other. Yeah, you actually couldn't. And the reason is because, I was just thinking quickly of the best way to explain that. The reason is because that method would only work if it was the same term number in both sequences that was the same. So can you see how this was the 4th term in this sequence and this was the 3rd term in this sequence? If you set them equal to each other, you would be finding the value of n, which makes both of the sequences the same. But what we find is that there actually isn't a value of n which makes them both the same, because when they're the same, we have a different number of n for both sequences. Hopefully that made sense. OGP7K said, surely you would just have to keep going until it works. Yep, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. Guys, question number 7. Let's have a look at this one. What's it gonna be? This one says, work out 3.42 times by 10 to the minus 7 divided by 7.5 times by 10 to the minus 6. Give your answer in standard form. Guys, step number 1, we're going to plug all of this into our calculator. 3.2 times by 10 to the power of minus 7. Then we're going to close those brackets. We're going to type divide by, open brackets, 7.5 times 10 to the power of minus 6. Guys, we type that into our calculator and we get 0.0456. Next step, we want to write that one in standard form. How do we write it in standard form, guys? We need to write it as a number between 1 and 10 times by 10 to a power. In this case, the first number that's going to go before our decimal point is this one, the 4. So we have 4.56 times by, and because we're writing a small number in standard form, our power is going to be negative. How many places did we move our decimal point? We moved it 2 places. So we're going to have times by 10 to the negative 2. So because we had a small number going into standard form, we had the negative power, and because we moved the decimal point 2 places, we have the power as negative 2. Bibby got that one right. Nicely done. Anybody else get that one? I'm guessing quite a few of you guys got that one, maybe. Star says yes. Guys, 5 seconds to screenshot this page, and I'm going to put question 8 and 9 on the screen. Aliyah got it. Good work. 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 8. Pretty good question here, guys. This is a very solid, standard exam question. Let's have a look. Maria says, congrats, sir. The live reached 62. New record. Come on, come on. Yeah, exactly, Maria. Awesome. The community's growing. It's getting stronger and stronger. We have 205 of us on the TikTok at the moment and 62 of us watching on the YouTube. Absolutely fantastic to see the community growing and nice to see all the moderators holding things down. Shout out A, shout out NJ, shout out Maria. Anybody else, any of the other moderators on here at the moment? Yeah, the YouTube chat's always looking really nice. Everyone's bringing good energy. So, yeah, thank you guys because you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Anjali said, just came here from the TikTok. Yeah, nice. Good to have you. Good to have you. Nightclimb's heading off. Oh, no. Actually, Nightclimb's saying bye to A. Quite difficult to keep track of the chat, I got to say. Victor, Quarter, Mane, one of the OOGs. Good to have you on, my friend. Question number 8, guys. Drop question in the chat. Drop ready in the chat when you're ready. Let's have a look. Bibby said, good luck for Monday. Hey, thank you very much for bringing the good energy to the chat, Bibby. I'm going to echo that, although I'll be saying it many more times. Guys, we get going again on Monday. Until then, the socks are pulled up and we're putting in the work. NJ says ready. Arabella is ready. Guys, let's have a look. What's it going to be? Question number 8. This one says the number of days D that it will take to build a house is given by D equals 720 over N, where N is the number of workers used each day. We're told that Ali's company will take 40 days to build the house. Haley's company will take 30 days to build the house. Haley's company will have to use more workers each day than Ali's company. How many more? Guys, we're going to work out the number of companies that the number of workers that Ali's company needs, and the number of workers that Haley's company needs as well. How are we going to do that? Well, we've been given a formula which has D equals 720 divided by N. We have the values of D, we want to work out the value of N. Now you could sub your values of D in and then rearrange, but it's going to be a little bit quicker if we rearrange it at the start. So we're going to rearrange this to make N the subject. At the moment, we have the N on the bottom of a fraction, which we don't really like. So we're going to times both sides of our equation by N. We're going to get D times by N equals 720. Next, to get the N on its own, we're going to divide both sides by D. We're going to get N equals 720 divided by D. Now what we can do is we can substitute in our 2 days to work out the number of workers for Ali and Haley. In the case of Ali, we know that it takes 40 days to build the house. So the number of workers is going to be equal to 720 divided by 40, which I think is 18. 720 divided by 40. Yep, 18. Beautiful. Next up, we have Haley. In Haley's case, we have N equals 720 divided by 30, which I'm pretty sure is 24. Let me just double check that. 720 divided by 30. There we go, guys. 24. Now, what does the question actually ask us? It asks us how many more workers will Haley's company use than Ali's company? We know that Haley has 24, Ali has 18, so we're going to do 24 minus 18, guys, and that is going to give us the difference of 6 workers. Guys, if you got that one, superb job. 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to move on to question number 9. 5 marks, I'm pretty sure. Yep. 5 marks up for grabs in this one, guys. It's a pretty long question. I'm going to give you a few minutes. I also know I've not been answering many questions in the chat recently, so I'm now going to have a little bit of a catch up on the TikTok and on the YouTube and see what's popping. Let's see. Anna, nice to have you on the TikTok chat. Vachula says, what level was that previous one? That previous one was a grade 5 question. Okay, can't see too much popping off on the TikTok, although a lot of people were putting the answer in the chat, so well done to those of you who got that one. What about on the YouTube? Because the other good thing about the YouTube is I can see the whole chat, so I can go back as far as we want. Like, I can still see the comments right from the start of the stream. Hey, Ethan Barnes. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure, but don't forget, it takes two to tango. I'm not the one saving your grades. You're the one who's watching the videos and actually choosing to participate. I'm just, putting another resource online, which hopefully is helping you make things a little bit less boring, shall we say? JJ Horobin says, for surface area, is it just the area of the sides? Yep, that is exactly right. That is exactly right. Guys, I'm going to give you another 2 minutes or so for this one. Pretty long question. Any questions for that previous one, let me know now, and I'll be able to answer them. Let's have a look. Joshua Bakoye, good to have you on, my friend. Sama says, hello, Sama, good to have you. Sid says, how long are you going to be live for? I'm going to be live for probably about an hour 15 from now, however long it takes to finish this paper, basically. Nataj says, foundation. The next foundation session is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing higher 3 till 5 and foundation 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. Ethan Barnes says, did you do A-level maths? Yeah, so I did A-level maths and I did A-level further maths as well. Eris says, late to the stream, but hey, good to have you on. Nidal commentator says, any tips for maximizing grade for Monday? Yep, but I'm not going to talk about it now while we're doing the paper. I'll share them at the end of the session. And I'm also going to, maybe I'm going to go live an extra time before paper 2. Maybe do like a late evening session, more of kind of like a chilled revision session, going through some key topics. Let's have a look. Eris says, what was further maths like? I plan to take it at A-level. Further maths was pretty good, I would say. Further maths was pretty good at A-level. I mean, people do find it difficult in general, so I would only take it if you're pretty confident that you're going to get a grade 9. But I mean, it's a good subject. It's pretty tricky, but it's definitely doable. It's definitely manageable. Guys, are we ready for this one? Drop ready in the chat. I wanted to give you quite a while because I know a lot of people are going to be getting their teeth stuck into this one. Question number 9, 5 marks up for grabs. Ollie, good to have you on, mate. Good to have you on. Maria's ready. Smoky Clips is ready. OGP76 said, I'm not sure how you do this one. Guys, to this one, please listen carefully. And please let me know after the question if you're in the group of people who didn't get it before but understand it after I explained it. This question is a very, very good one for making a lot of progress. So guys, listen carefully. And even if you think you're not capable of doing this one, give it a go and see if things make sense. Question number 9. It says the diagram shows a cube and a cuboid. We're told that the total surface area of the cube is equal to the total surface area of the cuboid. Janet says the volume of the cube is equal to the volume of the cuboid. Is Janet correct? You must show how you get your answer. So guys, what we're going to have to end up doing is working out the volume of the cube and also the volume of the cuboid. We can work out the volume of the cuboid straight away by doing our 3 side lengths multiplied together. So we could just start off by saying that the volume of the cuboid, is equal to our 6 times by our 8 times by our 18. Guys, we bring that into our calculator. 6 times 8 times 18, we're going to get 864. The question then becomes, is this the same as the volume for the cube? How are we going to work out the volume of the cube? Well, we're going to need the side lengths of the cube. How are we going to work out the side lengths of the cube? Well, we're going to start off by using this fact that the total surface area of the cube is equal to the total surface area of the cuboid. We're going to find the total surface area of the cuboid and check what the side lengths need to be to give the cube the same total surface area. How do we find the surface area of the cuboid? So, let's do surface area of the cuboid. Well, when we work out the surface area of the cuboid, we're going to recognize that we essentially have 3 pairs of faces which all have the same areas. We have these 2 end faces, which are 6 by 8. So we can work out their areas by doing 2, because we have 2 of them, times 6 times by 8, because the area of the faces, because they're rectangles, is going to be base times by height. Then we're going to add to that the areas of the two side faces. So we have this side here and this side here opposite it. Both of these sides have the same area. They have a height of 6 and a width of 18. So we can do 2, because there's 2 of them, times by 6 times by 18. Finally, guys, we have our top face and our bottom face. We have this face here and this face here. Again, we have 2 of them, but this time we have a width of 8 and a length of 18. So, guys, we can work out the surface area of the cuboid by typing all of this into our calculator. So we do 2 times 6 times 8 plus 2 times 6 times 18 plus 2 times 8 times 18. We type that in, guys, and we get 600 as the surface area of the cuboid. Now, based on that, we also know that the surface area of the cube has to be 600. Why? Because we know that the total surface area of the cube is equal to the total surface area of the cuboid. Where do we go from there? Well, we need to ultimately find our side lengths. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the fact that all 6 of the faces of our cube have the same area. Why? Because they're all squares of the same side lengths. So to work out the area of one face, we can do our total surface area, 600, divide by 6, our number of faces. We're going to get 100 centimeters squared as the total area of one face. Where do we go from there, guys? Well, we know that for squares, the area of a square is equal to base times by height, and they're both the same. What that means is that to find one side length, we can do, okay, what number do we times by itself to give us 100? How do we work that out, guys? Well, we do the square root. So let's say one side length. We're going to do the square root of the area of that face. So the square root of 100, square root of 100 is 10. Now, guys, we've calculated that that the length of one side is 10. Where can we go from there, guys? We can work out the volume of our cube. We can do 10 times by 10 times by 10. Volume of our cube equals 10 times 10 times 10, which is going to be 1,000 centimeters cubed. The question asked us whether Janet is correct in saying that the volume of the cube is equal to the volume of the cuboid. We found originally that the volume of the cuboid was 864, and we've just found that the volume of the cube is 1,000. Therefore, we can say no, unfortunately for Janet, she is not right, and the volumes are not the same. Guys, looking at the chat, talk to me. How was that one? Were there many people who didn't get it but understood it after I went through it? Let's see. I know this will have definitely tripped a few people up. A says, got it right. Nicely done. Aaliyah got it. Urtsa says, let's go. Come on, Urtsa. Nicely done. Vachila said, oh. Jake TT said, yeah, I get it now. My favorite types of comments, guys. Heidi said the same thing. Understand it now. JJ Horrobin said, completely understood. Awesome, guys. Those, like I say, are by far my favorite comments. The reason that I'm doing this, guys, is to, help people make progress. How do you make progress? You take things from not being understood to being understood. If you got every question right in a past paper, there would be no point in doing the past paper. D says, I hope I remember this. Yeah, definitely. Well, that's the practice. That's where the practice comes in. And even if you don't specifically remember it, you'll remember a lot of the ways of thinking that'll be in the back of your mind that will help you with other questions. Let's see. Looking at the chat, Sukana's said, I made a mistake when doing the surface area of the cuboid. That's annoying. Super easily done. Guys, 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving on to question number 10. A nice short question after that mammoth. I'm going to have a quick look at the chat now, guys. And if you're watching on the TikTok, consider coming over to the YouTube. I'm live on both at the same time. And we currently have 50 people on the YouTube and 260 on the TikTok. The benefit of being on the YouTube is that the chat all gets recorded and everything, and you can see me in or not see me, but see the screen a little bit bigger and stuff. And also the community's popping over there as well, because the chat organizes itself a bit better. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, NJ said the stream is also available to see even after it's over. Yeah, exactly right. So all the recordings are over on the YouTube as well. Aisha says, hi. Hello, Aisha. Good to have you back. Night Climb says, hey. To A, who just got back. Awesome, guys. Question 10. Let's have a look at this. What's it going to be? This one says, make K the subject of the formula. Y equals 2m, the square root of 2m minus 6. What are we going to do, guys? Well, we need to rearrange this. Oh, let me zoom in. We need to rearrange this to get the k on its own. Step number 1, guys, we don't like the fact that the whole of this side is under a square root. How do we move the square root to the other side? We do the opposite to square rooting, which is squaring. So we're going to square both sides. We're going to get that y squared equals 2m minus k. Then we're going to look at this, and I don't really like the fact that k is negative at the moment. So we're going to move the k over to the other side by plussing k to both sides. We're going to get y squared plus k equals 2m. Now, guys, to get the k on its own, we just need to move that y squared. So we're going to take y squared away from both sides. We get k equals 2m minus y squared. Guys, nicely done if you got that one. Nicely done, Aliyah. Nicely done, Maria. Nicely done, Nofila. Superb work, guys. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to screenshot this one. Raf says, yeah. Come on, good work, Raf. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 11. Although, guys, because you kind of need the paper for this one, I've just written it out for you. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 12. A 4-marker here, guys. This is a fantastic question for revision. I think it's actually very likely that you get one like this in your paper 2s. That's for AQA at Excel. Both tiers. I think this might be confusing people that it says foundation here. So today's session is entirely higher. This is supposed to be saying what we're doing tomorrow, just to let people know that tomorrow's live is a different time, basically. Humboldt says there hasn't been any inequalities yet. How come? Yeah, good point. There haven't in this paper. There is one towards the back end of this paper, though, and it's a pretty gnarly one, I have to say. It's one of the hardest. It's a pretty difficult inequalities question. It's a quadratic inequalities question, so it is a difficult one. Maria says, will you have an edXL live on Sunday? Yep, so on Sunday, guys, to everybody listening, I'm going to be going live twice. I'm going to be going live again, 3 till 5 and 6 till 8. The 3 till 5 session is going to be a higher session. The 6 till 8 session is going to be a foundation session. So Saturday and Sunday, both days, I'm going live for 4 hours, which, to be honest, will probably tire me out quite a bit. But it's good to get that final work in ahead of paper 2. Hillary says, paper 2 this Monday. Yep, exactly. 4 marks up for grabs in this one, guys. I'm going to give you another minute or so. Looking at the chat now. A said, guys, has Matt got a video on iterations? Yep, I do have a pretty long video on iterations. It's one that I made last year, so it's one of the old format ones, which is like 20 minutes long or so, or 15, 20 minutes. And I have had some good feedback from that one. I remember Shadow last year liked that one a lot, said it helped. So yeah, check that one out if you think it might help. Shari says, hello, Shari. Good to have you back. Guys, I don't know why. The room that I'm in is getting really hot. Nikechi said, when do you use cosine and when do you use the evaluation of half AB cos? Because I'm always confused. There's questions later in this paper that will help you with that. Questions later in the paper. Hey, Mary B, good to have you on. All the community here. Guys, drop ready in the chat when you're ready for this one. I know I've just seen that I have a bit of it off the screen. Drop ready in the chat when you're ready, and we'll talk about this one. Maria says, hi, Mary B, welcome. Come on. GCSE Revision says, hey, hello. Millie says, ready. Kashimai says, ready. Tongout says, ready. Aishasha says, ready. Guys, let's have a look at question number 12. Quite a long one here. This one says, the diagram shows triangle ABC. ADC and DEB are straight lines. We're given a bunch of lengths. AD is 4.4, that's on the diagram. BC is 8.6, it's on the diagram. E is the midpoint of BD, that's on the diagram. Not yet, so let me just write that in. Half. We're told that angle CDB is 90 and angle DCB is 40. Work out the size of angle EAD, this one here. And we're asked to give our answer correct to 1 decimal place. You must show all your working. Guys, what are we going to do here? We can see that we have a right angle triangle over here and over here. So straight away, we are thinking of our trigonometry. We are thinking of SO, CAR, and TOA. Let's have a look down here at this triangle, and what we see is that we don't currently have enough information to work out the size of our angle. Why? Because to work out the size of an angle, we're going to need 2 side lengths, for example, this one and this one, or for example, this one and this one, but at the moment, we only have 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to work out one of our side lengths. We're going to work out this side length over here. Now, we know that ED is going to be half of the length of BD, because E is the midpoint of DB, so it's halfway across. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to work out the total length of BD using trigonometry, and then we're going to halve it to get the length of ED. Now, how do we work out the length of BD? Well, we can see that we have a right angle triangle here, BDC, so this, and this. We can see that we're given this side length here, and we're given this angle here, so we can use trigonometry. Just to make things clear, I'm going to redraw this triangle. We know this side length is 8.6. This is our right angle. We know this angle here is 40. We want to work out this side length here. Trigonometry, guys, first step is going to be to label our side lengths. Opposite the angle in the question, we have the opposite side. Opposite the right angle, we have the hypotenuse, and our other side is the adjacent. We can see that this question involves the opposite and the hypotenuse, so we're going to be using SO because that's the one which includes the opposite and the hypotenuse. What does SO actually tell us? It tells us that sine of our angle, let's call it sine x, equals our opposite side divided by our hypotenuse. In this case, what do we have? We know that the angle in our question is 40, so we have sine 40 equals the opposite side, that's the one we want to work out, and our hypotenuse we have as 8.6. To work out the size of our opposite side length, guys, what can we do? We can multiply both sides by 8.6 to get the opposite on its own. We're going to get that our opposite side length equals 8.6 times by sine 40. This is something we can bring into our calculator. 8.6 times by sine 40. That, guys, is going to give us 5.527, etc. That's going to be the total length of BD. But remember, we want half of the length of BD to get this side length here. So we're going to divide this by 2. We're going to do 5.527, etc. divided by 2. Just going to divide the number in my calculator by 2. We get 2.764 to 3 decimal places. 2.764 to 3 decimal places. Now we write that in, 2.764, and we have another look at the right angle triangle that we have. In this case, we want to work out this angle here. Now we have a side length down here, 4.4, and a side length over here of 2.764. What we can do, guys, is we can redraw out this triangle just to make things a little bit neater. So we can draw a triangle down here. That wasn't a very good straight line. We can draw a triangle here. That was another rubbish straight line, guys. Triangle there is what we wanted. There and there. We have our 4.4 along the bottom. We have our 2.764 on the side. And we have angle X down here that we want to work out. Just like in the previous case, guys, we can label our side lengths. Opposite the angle in the question, we have the opposite. This is going to be our adjacent. Opposite the right angle, we have our hypotenuse. In this case, guys, we want to work out our angle, and we've been given the adjacent and the opposite. We look up at our trigonometric, or we look up at so-called TOA, I should say, and we say that tan is the one which includes, or TOA is the one that includes our opposite and our adjacent. We can write out our equation, tan x equals opposite over adjacent. We can substitute in our opposite of 2.764 and our adjacent of 4.4. Long one this, guys. And now what do we do to work out the size of angle x? How do we get the x on its own? We need to do tan to the minus 1 of both sides of our equation. So we get as our answer tan to the minus 1 of 2.764 over 4.4. Guys, I'm going to type this into my calculator. 10 to the minus 1 fraction, 2.764 over 4.4. Close those brackets. And what are we going to get? We are going to get, let's see, have I typed it in right? 2.764. Oh, I did type it in wrong. 2.764. There we go. That's better. Is 32.136, etc. Guys, we need to give our answer to one decimal place. So I'm going to round this to 1 dp. Look at the second number. It's a 3, so we round down. And what do we get as our answer? 32.1. That is going to be our answer to 1 decimal place. Guys, talk to me in the chat. Did we get it? Maria said 32.1. Cyrus said 32.1. Nightclimb said 32.1. Nafila said 32.1. The purple box said 32.1. Guys, if you got that one, absolutely great job. Very difficult question there, guys. A long one. Look at all that working out on one page. Guys, I want to keep the pace high, so I'm going to give you 5 seconds to screenshot. Let me just zoom out a little bit. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bing! We're going to move on, guys, to question number 13. Another fairly tricky question. And after this one, we will officially be more than halfway through this paper. Quite a few people asking the grade for the last question. Technically speaking, it was actually a grade 5. Now, in practicality, really, it's probably a grade 6 or 7. But technically, just based on the topics, it's a grade 5. Guys, nice to see the YouTube chat popping off. To anybody who's watching on the TikTok at the moment, consider coming over to the YouTube. I'm trying to pull quite a few people over, mainly because the community is always popping over there. I mean, it's always popping on the TikTok as well. But the main part is that I can see the whole chat way more clearly. Whereas on the TikTok, I can only see like 2 messages at a time. On the channel, I can see like 20 messages at a time. So it makes it a lot easier. Comma said, can you do a higher paper? This one actually is a higher paper. Jan said, I love compound interest. Yeah. A lot of people, even if they do like compound interest, probably won't like this one too much. It's quite a tricky compound interest one, I would say. ID's ready. A said, compound interest, blessed of a question. Ooh, okay. If you like this one, it's a good sign. Let me tell you that. Somebody's saying on their TikTok, let's do this. That's Kian Damodi. H says, bro, it's so helpful. Hey, good to hear, good to hear. Glad they're helping. Sukana said, nope, I'm not a fan of compound interest. Let's see. Bachelor said, let's go. Guys, drop ready in the chat when you're ready for this one, and we'll talk about it. Question number 13. I wanted to give you a while to think about this one. Question 13. Kian Damodi's ready. Oliver White's ready. Anybody else ready? Happy Face said scared but ready. Kai Sanat is ready. Sid's ready. Maya's ready. Guys, let's have a look at question number 13. Okay, what's it gonna be? This one says that Shakira. No, it's actually Sakura, but let's go with Shakira. Shakira invested £3,550 in a savings account for 3 years. Shakira was paid 2.6% per annum of compound interest for each of the first 2 years. Per annum, guys, means per year. She was paid R% interest for the third year. So first 2 years, 2.6%, then she was paid R%. Shakira had £3,819.21 in her savings account at the end of the 3 years, whereas to work out the value of R, give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. So guys, here what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to think about, okay, what's actually going on here? Well, Shakira starts with £3,550, and then she gets 2.6% interest twice, and then she gets R% interest once, and she ends up with £3,819.21. So we can use this information to set up an equation. We know that 3,550 times by 1.026 squared times by x equals £3,819.21. Now, where did this come from? 1.026 is the percentage multiplier for a 2.6% increase. 0.026 would be 2.6%, so multiplying by 1.026 would increase our number by 2.6%. By squaring it, we do that twice, representing the fact that we get that 2.6% for 2 time periods. Then we multiply by some other number, which is going to represent the R percentage multiplier, and we end up with this much money. This, guys, gives us an equation which we can then rearrange and solve. There's quite a few different ways to do this. The quickest way would just be to divide both sides straight away by 3,550 times by 1.026 squared. So we can just write it like this. X equals 3819.21 over 3550 times 1.026 squared. So what we've essentially done is moved both of these to the right-hand side. Because we're multiplying them, we're going to divide both sides by this whole thing. Alternatively, we could type this into our calculator. That would give us roughly probably 3,700x, something like that. Then divide both sides by 3,700. But we can just type it like this as well. So I'm going to do that. We're going to do 3819.21 over 3550 times by 1.026 squared. We type that into our calculator, guys, and we get that x is equal to 1.02199, etc. So, guys, what does that number now represent? That number represents our percentage multiplier for our increase of a percentage. How do we go from this to just the percentage? Well, we're going to subtract 1 and just take that decimal on the end. So the percentage increase is going to be 2.199%. Correct to 1 decimal place, 2.2%. I know I did a little bit of a jump there. So we can say as a decimal, increase is 0.02199. Therefore, as a percentage, 2.199%. We times that number by 100 to go from a decimal to a percentage, and then we get our answer of 2.2%. Guys, if you got that one, superb job. Good work, NJ. Good work, Hamza. Hey, you guys who have been regulars here have really been making some progress. It's so good to see. Guys, I just need to crack my back quickly. Oh, that feels a bit better. Nicely done, Harun. Nicely done, Alex. Superb work. H says that last bit was hard. Yeah, that last step was definitely pretty tricky. Expo said, why do you take away 1? Superb question. The reason that we take away 1 is because this is currently the percentage multiplier. So it's like in this form. To convert it into just the percentage, we want to only take the decimal. So if you think about it, for a 2.6% increase, we had 1.026. This is the increase in percentage multiplier form. To get just a percentage increase, we just want to take that decimal on the end. Hopefully that makes sense. Guys, 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 14. 2 pretty good questions here, I've got to say. 2 pretty good questions. Let's have a look. A 2 marker and a 3 marker here. The second question is very standard. Yeah, Expo said, get it now. Thanks, mate. Hey, you're very welcome. I'm very glad. That's whenever I answer a specific question like that, I always think, oh, am I not wasting my time? But if the person still doesn't understand it after I explain it, then I went on a specific question and it still didn't make sense. However, that's so good to hear that it makes sense now, because yeah, that's makes everything worthwhile, Looking at the chat now. Nightclimb said 2 marks is still good. Yep, definitely on that previous one, 2 marks was solid. Aliyah thinks this is 7. Manu, good to have you in the chat, says 7. Let's see. Mola thinks it's 7. Quite a few answers coming in now. NJ says 7 as well, guys. Let's have a look. Question 14. What's it going to be? This one says that Sadia is going to buy a new car. For the car, she can choose 1 body color, 1 roof color, and 1 wheel type. She can choose from 19 colors, 25 wheel types. Oh, let me zoom out a little bit. The total number of ways that Sadia can choose the body, the roof, and the wheel is 3325. Work out the number of different roof colors that Sadia can choose from. Guys, this is a classic exam question. This is one of our combinations questions. Unfortunately, it's a topic which is very often missed out in school as well. How are we going to do this? Well, we know to work out the total number of different ways that we can have a combination of body color, roof color, and wheel type, we multiply the number of each of those things. In this case, we would multiply the number of body colors, 19, by the number of wheel types, 25, by the number of roof colors, which we don't know, so we're going to call it X, and that is equal to the total number of options, 3325. Then, guys, what we can do is we can rearrange this equation. We can start off by simplifying the left. 19 times 25 is going to be 475, so we have 475x equals 3325. Then, guys, we can divide both sides by 475. 3325 divided by 475. That is going to give us 7 as our answer. So, guys, our answer there is going to be 7. If that one didn't make any sense to you, you're going to be in a group of a lot of people who it didn't make sense for, because not many people tend to get those questions right. But that is a very classic exam question, combinations. So if you weren't sure what I did there, consider revising that topic. Guys, question 15. I'm going to give you 1 minute for this, because I know it was on the screen for a while before that previous one. And then I'm going to go through it. Lots of legwork in this one. Lots of legwork. Angel said, will triple brackets come up again in paper 2? It's unlikely. It's unlikely, but I do know there's people from different exam boards as well. That's why we're still doing this one. KD said, oh yeah, it wouldn't come up again. Guys, do you want me to just go through this one? Because I know most of the people on this call are at Excel. Shall I just go through it? Guys, tell me in the chat. Yeah, Bo says they were in paper 1. Yep, they were for Edexcel. Yeah, a lot of people are saying yes. I know most of the people here are at Edexcel, so I will just go through this. In fact, no. Yeah, I will go through it just for completeness for anybody watching this back, but I'll do it pretty quickly. What's it going to be? How do we expand and simplify this set of triple brackets? What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to start off by firstly expanding these two brackets. So we're going to do 3x plus 2 times by 2x plus 1. To expand double brackets, guys, we have to use FOIL. We do first, outer, inner, last. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 1 is plus 3x. 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times 1 is 2. Then we can collect our like terms, guys. We pull together the 3x and the 4x. We get 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. Now, guys, we're going to multiply this, which is equivalent to this, by our third bracket. So we're going to write out another set of brackets. We're going to do our 6x squared plus 7x plus 2 times by 2x plus 1. So we do 6x squared times by 2x. We get 12x cubed. I wrote that wrong, didn't I? There we go. X minus 5 we're timesing by. Hopefully that didn't confuse everybody. We spotted the mistake. Yeah, Ram, thank you for picking up on it. S4 Samza, yep. Thank you, guys. I just wrote the wrong one in there. It should have been X minus 5. Good job, guys. So yeah, we do 6x squared times by x. We get 6x cubed. 6x squared times minus 5. We get minus 30x squared. We do 7x times by x. We get plus 7x squared. We do 7x times by minus 5, we get minus 35x. We do 2 times by x, we get plus 2x. We do 2 times by minus 5, we get minus 10. Then, guys, we can collect our like terms. We have the 6x cubed on its own. Then we have minus 30x squared plus 7x squared. That's going to be minus 23x squared. And then minus 35x. Plus 2x minus 33x, and then our minus 10 on the end there. Guys, if you got that one, absolutely superb job. I know a lot of people will have skipped that if you do Edexcel because it did come up in paper 1. Either way, still good as a little bit of algebra practice. Guys, 5 seconds to screenshot this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to move on to question number 16. Pretty tricky one, this. Pretty tricky one. Guys, I think after this, we only have like 6 questions to go because I'm going to skip a couple of the questions in this paper just because you need the paper printed out to do them. And I know a lot of people don't have the paper printed out. So I think after this, we only have like 6 to go. Vashla said, okay, now I understand. Hey, you know that, my favorite comments. Amna said, I got it. Nicely done. Jake TTL said, love those questions. Nicely done. N Clock as well says, got it. Mana Manu says, lovely. NJ said, IGCSE can be worldwide, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so the main difference in terms of who does IGCSE and regular GCSE is IGCSE just stands for International GCSE, so it's done in a lot of international schools. But the content is actually very, very similar. Very similar. Oh, guys, I'm getting pretty hot, to be honest. I'm getting pretty hot. I'm going to take a little 30-second breather, have a sip of water. Okay. All right. Looking at the chat, guys. To anybody who's watching on the TikTok right now, consider coming over to the YouTube. I'm sure it's probably not good for the algorithm, me saying that. However, the community on the YouTube is growing more and more day by day. We're up to 55 people at the moment, which is absolutely awesome. Mullah thinks it's either 40/72 or 20/72. Anybody else ready for this one? Anybody else ready? Let's have a look. Drop ready in the chat if you're ready, guys. Tariq Maguali says, what's up? I'm guessing you just came from the TikTok. Welcome to the YouTube family. Little MJ's ready. Zeds is ready. Manu is ready. Guys, let's have a look at question 16. D's ready. Ellen's ready. What's it gonna be? Question 16. This one says that Marek has 9 cards. Nice name. There is a number on each card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Marek takes at random 2 of the cards. He works out the product of the numbers on the 2 cards. Work out the probability that the product is an even number. Guys, what are we going to do? Well, we know that there's a few different ways that we could end up with the product, which is the 2 numbers multiplied together, being an even number. Either you pull 2 even numbers, or you pull 1 odd number and 1 even number, so odd then even, or you choose even then odd, right? So either even, odd even, or even odd. So what we could do is find all of those probabilities and add them together. However, that's quite a lot of work. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to find the probability that the result, or the product I should say, is an odd number, and then we're going to do 1 minus that number. So we're going to find the probability of odd, then take it away from 1 to find the probability of even. Now, how do we find the probability of an odd number? So let me just write something out quickly. So for the product to be odd, both numbers must be odd. So the only way for the product to be odd is for both of the cards we pull to be odd. What's the probability then of choosing an odd and then another odd? Well, what's the probability of choosing an odd on the first pick? How many odd numbers do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many cards in total? 9. So the probability on the first choice is 5 over 9. We need the first choice and the second choice to be odd. So we're going to multiply the 2 probabilities together. Now, what's the probability that the second choice is odd? Well, after we've chosen that first one, we now have 1 less card in total because one of them's been taken away. So we have 8 cards in total. And how many odd cards do we have in total? Well, we did have 5 odd cards. 1 odd card has already been chosen. So now we have 4 odd cards. So this is the probability the first one's odd. This is the probability the second one's odd. Now we need to find the probability of both of them. So we multiply those probabilities together. Absolutely use the calculator for this. 20 over 72. So the probability of getting an odd number is 20 over 72. To find the probability of an even number then, we're going to do 1 minus the probability of the odd number. So we're going to do 1 minus 20 over 72, which is going to be 50 over 72. And you guys would have all used your calculators for this. It's not going to be 50, is it? It's going to be 52 over 72. That's why you use a calculator. And typing this into the calculator, 52 over 72. This, guys, is going to simplify down to 13 over 18, our answer to this one. Nicely done, Hamza. Nicely done, NJ. Nicely done, Maria. Guys, if you got that one, super work. Having a look at the chat now. Let's see. Anybody get that one? Or anybody didn't get that one but understood it after I went through it? Talk to me. Finn said, where did you get the 58? I'm guessing you mean this 52. I did 1 minus 20 over 72. Your guys' working out might have looked a little bit different there, just because I didn't use a calculator for it. So your numbers would have been a bit simplified, but the overall answer would have come out the same. Yeah, it would have come out the same. Mike said, understand now. Good to hear, Mike. Naween said, I got it, but I totally overcomplicated it. Did you do it the long way of even, odd, even, and then add all of those together? Yasmin said, do you always need to simplify? No, Yasmin, you don't. You only need to simplify if they ask you to. I just did it because most people would have done the calculator or used the calculator, so I would have simplified it for you. Guys, 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 17. And guys, even though this looks absolutely horrible, trust me when I say it's not actually too bad. It's not actually too bad. So even if you're thinking you hate circle theorems, give this one a go, guys. Think about how you might do it, because honestly, it's not too bad. Smoky Clips says, isosceles triangle, question mark. I will say there is an isosceles triangle involved. There is indeed. By the way, guys, my hay fever is starting to kick in a bit. Not as in this second, as in just in general. Does my voice sound different? Because I got like a bit of a blocked nose. I don't know if you guys can tell that my voice is different or if it just sounds different to me. Let me know in the chat. And if you say it sounds different, I'm not going to mind or anything. I'm just curious, to be honest, whether it sounds... Okay, Ace says it sounds the same. Mana Manu says it sounds the same. Raf says you sound better now. Okay, maybe hay fever more often. Eric said, no, I haven't noticed it sounding different. Elliot Opitz said, I hate hay fever. Yeah, trust me, man. Trust me. It's not nice. Javi Football Edit said, same, bro. Okay, that's good. That's good. Keo said, you sound like you have a blocked nose, G. Yep, that's what I was thinking, because I do have a bit of a blocked nose. NJ said, I used to suffer hay fever. Hey, however you got rid of it, let me know. Let me know, because I'm gonna hop on it. Guys, drop ready in the chat when you're ready for this one. I can see quite a few answers flowing in now. A said, I never used to, but now I do. Hey, that's so annoying. So annoying. Man like Arthur's got those capital letters out. Says, can we do the question, please? Yep. Guys, we're going to go through it just now. Lucy's ready. Elliot's ready. Oliver White's ready. Guys, let's have a look at question number 17. What's it going to be? This one says that A and B are points on a circle with center O. We're told that CAD is a tangent to the circle at A. BOD is a straight line, and angle ODA is 32 degrees. We're asked to work out the size of angle CAB. So we're asked to work out the size of this angle here, CAB. Guys, what are we going to do? When we see a question like this, what we're going to do is we're going to draw on any angles that we can. The first thing we spot is that we have a tangent to a circle here, and we have a radius here. And we know that the tangent meets the circumference at a right angle. So that's going to be 90 degrees. So this is going to be 90 degrees because the tangent meets the radius at a right angle. Now, where can we go from there? We see, guys, that we have a triangle here, and we know that the angles in triangles add up to 180. So we can work out the size of this angle here by doing 180 minus our 90 minus our 32. That, guys, is going to give us 58. Let me just check I'm not making a silly mistake. Beautiful, 58, so we have 58 degrees there. Where can we go from there? Well, we also know that angles on a straight line add up to 180, so we can work out this angle here by doing 180 minus our 58. That, guys, is going to be 122. Again, let me just check for silly mistakes, because it's very easy to do. Yeah, 122, beautiful. Now, guys, where can we go from there? Well, now we're going to use the fact that this is actually an isosceles triangle. How do we know it's an isosceles triangle? Because these two side lengths have to be the same. Why? Because they're both radiuses to the circle, so they're both the same side length. What does that tell us? It tells us that both of these angles have to be the same as well. Where can we go from there? Well, we know that angles in a triangle add up to 180. We know that this angle is 122. So we're going to do 180 minus 122, which is 58. That's going to give us those two angles together, 58. Then we're going to do 58 divided by 2 to work out one of them, and we're going to get 29. So we now know that that angle there is 29 degrees. Where do we go from there? Well, working out the size of angle BCA, we know that this total angle is 90 degrees, just like on the right-hand side. So if this is 29 degrees, this is going to have to be whatever we add to 29 to get 90. So we're going to do 90 minus 21, not 21, 29, which gives us 61. And guys, that is our answer. If you got that one, superb work. Haji says 61. Nafila got 61. Guys, if you got that, superb work. Tricky question there. Lots of circle theorems, lots of tricky concepts. We had the isosceles triangle in there. And guys, let me know if you didn't get that, but understand it now. Let me know. Lil MJ says it wasn't too bad. Hey, that's good to hear. Arthur said, why not Sokar Toa? The reason is because you don't actually have any side lengths in this one. You don't have any side lengths. So we're not going to be using Sokar Toa. Humble says, nah, that's getting skipped if I see that. Yeah, I'm not going to blame you for that. Guys, I'm going to say 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quite a few people saying they still don't understand that one. Guys, it was a tricky question. I'm not going to have time to go through it again now, but if you want to watch the recording back, it'll go straight up to YouTube, so you can see it over there. I'm also live on both platforms at the same time, so to anybody who wants to come over, I tell you what, if a bunch of people come from the TikTok now to the YouTube, we'll smash past our record for most YouTube viewers, which will be awesome. Okay, guys, moving on. Question 18, we're going to skip this one because you need the paper printed out to do it. I've written out a solution for you, though, for anybody who wants the answer. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question 19 and 20. Hey, Esther, good to have you. Good to have you as well, Star. Star says, paper 2 Monday. Yep, we are here doing our final preparations. Well, final preparations is Sunday, but let's see. Matomba says from TikTok, guys, let's try and get a bunch of people over. We can maybe break the record. And I want to do another big party on the YouTube today. I think that'll be fun. Guys, question 19, only a 2-marker here. Let's go through it. I don't want to take too long for these two. Well, this is a 4-marker, actually, the next one, but it's quite generous 4-marker. Let's have a look, guys. Question 19. This says the diagram shows a hemisphere with a diameter of 8.4 centimeters. We're asked to work out the volume of the hemisphere, giving our answer to 3 sig figures. We're given the formula for the volume of a sphere. It's 4 over 3 pi r cubed. To work out the volume of a hemisphere, then, we're going to work out the volume of our sphere, and we're going to halve it because we have a hemisphere. So essentially, the formula is going to become 4 over 3 times pi times by r cubed divided by 2. In this case, guys, we've been told that the diameter is 8.4. We know the radius is half of the diameter. So the radius here is going to be a half of 8.4, which is going to be 4.2. So we can swap the r cubed in there for 4.2 cubed. And this, guys, is something we can type into our calculator. We get our calculator, we click the fraction button, we put in our 4 over 3, we do times by. We do pi times by 4.2 to the power of 3 divide by 2. Guys, we type this in and we get 155.169, etc., etc. The question asks us to give this to 3 significant figures. Here, guys, the first, second, third significant figures are the 1, the 5, and the 5. We look at the fourth. It's going to be this 1 because it's less than 5. We round down, and we give our answer as 155, correct to 3 significant figures. I'm pretty sure they will give you the unit. Yeah, we can write it in anyway. Centimeters cubed there is going to be our answer. Nicely done, Mala. Nicely done to anybody who got that one. Superb work, Maria. Superb work, Nafila. Guys, awesome, awesome, awesome. Javi Football Edit says W. Come on, Javi. Good work, mate. Question 20. Guys, drop ready in the chat when you're ready for this one, because I know I actually gave you a while for this, and it doesn't take too long, this question, even though it's a 4 marker. What's it gonna be? Smoky Clips is ready, Stars ready, Commas ready. Anybody else ready? Let's see, anybody ready? AM says, ready, G. Yasmin's ready. Oliver White's ready. Guys, question number 20. What's it going to be? In this question, we're told that D is equal to 1 over 8 times by C cubed. We're told that C is equal to 10.9 correct to 3 significant figures. It says, by considering bounds, work out the value of D to a suitable degree of accuracy. Give a reason for your answer. Guys, what we're going to do is we're going to start off by writing bounds for C. We're going to use that to write bounds for D, and then we're going to go from there. So what about bounds for C? Well, we know that C is 10.9 to 3 significant figures. Our upper bound is going to be 10.95, and our lower bound is going to be 10.85. To work those out, guys, we simply add a 5 on the end, and then reduce the 9 to an 8, and add a 5 on the end to get the lower bound. So now we have the bounds for C. What about the bounds for D? Well, we know that D is equal to 1 over 8 C cubed. So the upper bound for D is going to be 1 over 8 times the upper bound for C cubed. Likewise, with the lower bound, it's going to be 1 over 8 times the lower bound for D cubed. Those guys we can type into our calculator. On the lower side of things, we have 1 over 8 times by 10.85 cubed. We type that in, guys, and we get 159.66. On the right-hand side, we swap that 8 for a 9. And, guys, we get 164.11, etc., etc. Now, guys, where do we go from here? It says in this question, give your answer to a suitable degree of accuracy. Now, what does that actually mean? We can see that in the question, C has been given to 3 significant figures. And if we look at our 2 values, 159 and 164, and then the decimal places, we can actually work out that they both round to the same thing, to 3 significant figures. So if we round both of these numbers to 3 significant figures, we get 160, I should say. So both round to 160 to 3 significant figures. So what does this bound tell us? It tells us that should have an or equal to sign. It tells us that D is between 159.66 and 164.11, which means if it is between them, then it definitely has to be 160 to 3 significant figures. Hopefully that one makes sense, guys. 5 seconds to screenshot. Ide says, I'm guessing that makes sense now. Oliver White said, can you put 162? You wouldn't be able to put 162. You wouldn't be able to put 162. I know what you've done there. You've gone for halfway between them, right? But in this case, you would have to go with what they would both round to, as opposed to just halfway between them. Smoky Clip says, what does a suitable degree of accuracy mean? It technically means to something reasonable for the question, but it's pretty much always going to be the same as they give you the stuff in the question too. So because they give you to 3 significant figures here, you can pretty much guess that you're going to have to round both of those as well to 3 sig figures. That doesn't always work, but it normally works, maybe 9 times out of 10. Spiral said, how does 164 round to 160? Because if you round to 3 significant... that's actually to 2 significant figures. Okay, guys. Sorry, I've been saying the wrong thing this whole time. What I meant to say was to 2 significant figures. What I meant to say was to 2 significant figures. Guys, thank you for picking up on that. Sorry for any confusion. You are exactly right. That was 2 significant figures. So, to 3 significant figures, this would actually be 160 anyway. This would be 164. So, we don't actually round them to 3 significant figures, we round them to 2 significant figures. Sorry for any confusion there. This is actually a really good example anyway to illustrate the point that it doesn't always round to the degree of accuracy it says in the question. So I did say it works 9 out of 10 times. In this case, it doesn't work. In this case, you have to do to 2 significant figures. You basically have to find a number which both of these can plausibly round to. And again, I don't know where that thing's gone. But yeah, both of these can be rounded to 160 if they're to 2 significant figures or the nearest 10. That's why we go for 2 significant figures there. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense now, guys. Yeah, I know that was probably a little bit confusing. I just glitched out a bit. Smoky Clip said, would it always be near the significant figures they give you? Yeah. Exactly. Okay, guys, 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on. Keo said, what if I just said 160? Then you would be completely fine. Guys, this is another one we're going to skip just because you do need the paper printed out to do it. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question number 22. And after this, guys, we just have 2 questions to go. Hey, Shadow Plays says, back again. Welcome back, Shadow. Welcome back. Good to have you. Guys, we now have 3 fairly tricky questions to end the paper off. This is where the hard work comes in. Well, it's all been hard work, but this is where the real gains get made with these difficult end-of-paper questions. Charlotte26 said, how many questions are there on a standard paper? It does change, to be honest. Normally, it is about 25. Angel said, this looks weird. Yep, this one is a little bit weird. This is iteration. It's one of those topics which, when it clicks, it really makes sense. But when it doesn't make sense, it's really confusing. There are some topics which you're kind of halfway there with. But this is a topic which is kind of clicks into place when you properly understand it. NJ says it's called iterative formula. Yep, exactly. I do have a video on my YouTube. It's like 10, 15 minutes, which goes through the whole thing in a lot of detail and all the different types of questions. So if you don't understand this after I go through it, consider checking that one out. ADZ said, any tips for revising AS Maths for end-of-year exams for predicted grades in 18 days? Great question. ADZ, I remember you from last year, actually. Mate, the tips are actually the same as GCSE, exactly the same. It always comes down to past papers. And what you find is that actually holds for every exam you ever do, whether you're at uni, whether you're at college or sixth form or whatever, past papers are always the best way. Charlotte26 says, what does iterative mean? Or is that not necessary to know? It's not really necessary to know the definition of it, but what it just means is repeated. So if something is iterated, it means that it's repeated. A said, I can hear the music in the back. Or hopefully you can't. Can you hear it? You might have to turn your volume up pretty loud. Does anybody know what's playing? Let me know on the YouTube if you can hear. Hey, ADZ, that's good to hear. Thank you very much. Mana Manu says a little, but barely. Ha ha ha. Well, if anybody wants to know, I got a little bit of Amy Winehouse on today. Normally we switch between, Afro beats, a little bit of rock sometimes, like very gentle rock, like Green Day style rock. Today it's Amy Winehouse. Got to switch it up, Guys, drop ready in the chat when you're ready for this one, and we'll go through it. We're now getting to the point of the paper, guys, where I'm going to encourage as many people as possible to come over from the TikTok to the YouTube, because we're going to be doing a big party with big emojis on the YouTube. Vashla says, I love Afro beats. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about music at the end of this session, because, music's an awesome, awesome thing. Vashla says, ready. Dot's ready. I'm going to set I got a decimal. Guys, let's have a look at question number 22. It says the number of rabbits on a farm at the end of month N is Pn. So Pn is the number of rabbits on a farm at the end of month N. The number of rabbits at the end of the next month is given by Pn plus 1. That just means, so let me zoom in just to make this clear, because I know this part trips. Why can't I zoom in? There we go. I don't know why my iPad's playing up. Yeah, there we go. So Pn plus 1 equals 1.2 Pn minus 50. So this is the current month, and this is the next month. The n plus 1 just means that the number of the month has increased by 1. So if this was January, this would be February. If this was November, this would be December. And then just because that trips a lot of people up, God, I don't know why I can't zoom in and out on my iPad. That's really weird. Okay, that's better. So at the end of March, there are 200 rabbits on the farm. Work out how many rabbits there will be on the end of the farm, on the farm at the end of June, I should say. So we have March, we want June. Guys, we're going to use March to work out April, April to work out May, May to work out June. Charlotte26 says, what does iteration mean? It means repeated, and that is exactly what we have to do here. We have to repeat this. So we're going to start off by saying end of March, 200. The month after March, guys, is April. March, April, yeah. So at the end of April, what do we have? Well, we're going to have to do 1.2 times by our number at the end of March minus 50. So we do 1.2 times by 200 minus our 50. We can do that on the calculator, guys, and I'm pretty sure it's going to give us 190. Let me just double check that. 1.2 times 200 minus 50. Yep, 190. Now, guys, to work out the end of May, we're going to plug in the value for the end of April, because this equation tells us how we get from one month to the next month. So we're going to do 1.2 times 190 minus 50. 1.2 times 190 minus 50. That one, guys, is going to give us 178. Now, guys, to find the end of June, we're going to use our May value. So end of June, we're going to do 1.2 times 178 minus 50. And we are going to get 163.6. 163.6, guys. That is what we get. Some people will be thinking that we have to write this as 163 because it's rabbits. Some people will be thinking we have 0.6, so we round up. Guys, in this case, they're not going to mind either way. You can either round up to 164 or say 163 because it's rabbits. Technically speaking, the correct answer should be 163, but in the exam, they'll give you either one. They'll give you either one because you can't have 0.6 of a rabbit, so it would be 163, but you could say 164. They're not going to mind either way. Amna says, wait, I got it, lol. Hey, good work, good work. A got it, nicely done. The purple box says, I now get it. King Baboon said, makes sense. Hey, guys, my favorite comments, as you know, my favorite comments. That's good to hear. Who said that as well? Brenda said, makes sense now. Hey, good to hear, Brenda. Good to hear. Awesome. Suzanne, you're very welcome. I'm guessing you're in that group as well. Good work, guys. 22B, guys. This one says, considering your results in part A, suggest what will happen to the number of rabbits on the farm after a long time. All we're going to say here, guys, is that it will go to 0. It will go to 0. Why do we think it will go to 0? Because we can see that the number's just decreasing, 190 to 178, then 178 to 163. It's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller until it goes to 0. NJ said the rabbits would decrease until they are completely gone. That is the perfect answer, my friend. Good job. Nabil Azizi said, what if it was increasing? If it was increasing, then in the long run, you'd assume it goes to infinity. And that is actually how they test a lot of mathematical models in the real world. Smoky Clip said, can you just say decrease? You can't actually just say decrease because it does say after a long time. So what they're looking for really is for you to say, actually after a long time, it's going to go to 0. Guys, 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to question 23. We have how many marks up for grabs? 6 marks up for grabs in this question. This, guys, is a pretty tricky question. Let's see. We now have about, I would say, 10 minutes left of this session. So even if you don't want to do this one, consider sticking around for the party at the end. I'm also maybe going to do a bit of a Q&A afterwards. We'll see how we feel, see how much energy we've got. It was nice the other day when we did the Q&A on the YouTube. Yeah, maybe we'll do that again tonight. We'll see how we're feeling and see what you guys fancy, because I know a lot of you guys will probably be very tired as well. Let's have a look. Guys, any questions? Let me know. NJ, this is a good question for you. I know you're shooting for a grade 9, so yeah, give this one a go and see if you can get it. Long question all round. 3 marks is brutal, to be honest. It should definitely be a 4 marker, this first part. AID says, I ain't doing all that. Yep, fair enough. Fair enough. BH4DB said, is this foundation? Nope, this is definitely not foundation. This is actually a grade 9 higher tier question. Just to push people in the right direction, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. Maria said, I will give it a try. Awesome, Maria. Give this one a go. Ah, okay, bad. I got it. Vashla said, how are we going to do that? Aliyah says, I got it. Come on. Javi says, where do you even start? Guys, I'm going to give you another 30 seconds or so, then I'm going to go through this. King Baboon said, oh, hell nah. Ain't no way my brain going to do that. Yeah, fair enough. This is a long one, mate. This is a long one. Manau says, got it. Aliyah says, got it. Good work, guys. Nothing with the tango dancers says, got it. Good work. Difficult question, guys, I got to say. Smoky Clip says, would you need to do it for both? Do it twice for both? You wouldn't need to do it twice for both, but you would need to do double the overall thing. Cassie said, bruv, how do we do this? Guys, let's have a look. Shadow, come on, in the chat says, got it. Nicely done. Question 23. It says, the diagram shows a parallelogram. The area of the parallelogram is greater than 15 centimeters squared. Show that, based on this, 2x squared minus 21x plus 40 is less than 0. Guys, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with an expression for the area of the parallelogram. And we're going to set that greater than 15. Then we're going to rearrange, and hopefully it's going to come out with this. How do we come up with an expression for the area of the parallelogram? The first thing we do is we split this parallelogram down into 2 triangles which are exactly the same size. Why does that help us? Well, we know that to work out the area of a triangle, we can use the formula a half AB sine C, where C is an angle and A and B are the 2 side lengths either side of the angle. So in this case, our C is 150, A and B are 10 minus x and 2x minus 1. Doesn't matter which one is which. We can say that the area of this, so 2 lots, because we have 2 of these triangles, of a half times A, so 10 minus x, times B, so 2x minus 1, times sine C, so sine 150 is greater than 15. So this is the area. 2 lots because we have 2 triangles. Area of the triangle, a half AB sine C. And guys, you're just going to have to bear with me for 20 seconds or so, because my thing that I'm holding my phone on just ran out of charge. So I'm just going to have to prop that up so I can see the chat still. Hopefully I can get this sorted quickly. For a second. Okay, that'll do for now. And I'll just plug it into charge. Actually, I'll do that after this question. So, we now have the start point. We have the area of our parallelogram greater than 15. Next step, let's simplify everything. First off, 2 times by a half. 2 times up by a half, they're going to cancel each other out because 2 times a half is 1. Sine 150. Sine 150, we type into our calculator and we see that it's equal to a half. So we have a half. Tell you what, guys, everything's running out of charge. My speaker just ran out of charge as well. Hopefully that sounds not annoying. There we go, it's gone. So a half, that was equal to our sine 150. And then we're going to multiply that by all of this. So we're going to have to multiply out these brackets. What's it going to give us? We're going to have 10 times by 2x. That's going to give us 20x. Then we're going to have, let me just write that in. So 10 times by 2x. And we're going to have 10 times by minus 1. That's going to give us minus 10. Then we're going to have minus x times by 2x. That's going to give us minus 2x squared. Then we're going to have minus x times by minus 1. That, guys, is going to give us plus x is greater than 15. Now what we can do, guys, to move that half over to the other side or deal with it is we can times both sides of our equation by 2. That's going to cancel out the half on the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, we can also collect our like terms. We can do 20x plus x, which is going to give us 21x. So we have minus 2x squared plus 21x minus 10 is greater than 30. Where do we go from there, guys? Well, we can see that in our expression, our 2x squared is positive. At the moment, the 2x squared is negative, so we're going to move that over to the other side. So we're going to move everything on this side over to the other side of the equation. We're going to have 0 on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, we're going to add 2x to both sides. Sorry, 2x squared. So we have 2x squared. Then we're going to minus 21x from both sides, minus 21x. Then we're going to plus 10 to both sides. We're going to have plus 40. So, guys, what we get is that 0 is greater than 2x squared minus 21x plus 40, which is exactly what we wanted to come out with. Exactly what we wanted to come out with. So, guys, that is how we do that part. Guys, let me know in the chat, how did that one go? I'm going to try and get my music back on. Okay, just give me a couple of seconds for that, guys. Let's see. Okay, hopefully you still can't hear it. Yeah, I don't think you can hear it. Beautiful. Looking at the chat, Z said, where did the 2 go? If you mean the half, we times both sides by 2 there. I did do that in a few less steps than it could have been done in. Riri said, where did the 30 come from? Yeah, so we times both sides by 2 to move that half over to the right-hand side. So we times by 2, and we expanded in one step. Looking at the chat, Mana Manu. Was that Mana Manu or was that someone else? No, that was M. Donna Job said, bro's saving me. Hey, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Shadow Play says, got it correct. Happy. Nicely done. Shadow, nicely done. Riri, glad that makes sense now. Nabil said, like the live stream. Hey, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. Guys, should we move on to the next one? Oh, somebody said, could you make a TikTok tonight of what could come up in paper 2? I've actually already done that, guys. If you see my Hot Topics post, it's pinned to the top of my page. Okay, Sophia says yes. Guys, let's have a look then at question 23b. It says, find the possible range of values of x, where, guys, this was our equation or inequality to be solved. So essentially now the question is, find the range of possible values for x. In other words, solve 0 is greater than 2x squared minus 21x plus 40. King Baboon said, honestly makes sense. Hey, that's good to hear. Guys, I just need to plug my little tripod thingy into charge. Just give me 2 secs for that. You guys crack on with part B. There we go. There we go. Part B. This one. Oh, I got the wrong charge lead. Oh, no, I didn't. Perfect. Part B, guys, is a tricky part. Solving quadratic inequalities. Grade 9 topic right here. Eris said, is this completing the square? This one is actually solving quadratic inequalities. is up to charge. Nope, not yet, guys. We're going to be set up in just another couple of seconds, hopefully. There we go. Okay. Maybe for now, I'll just put my phone down a bit and let the tripod charge. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so guys, for the next few moments, I'm just going to be focusing on the YouTube chat. I'm not going to be looking at the TikTok at all, just because my phone is down and out for the time being. Guys, part B, drop ready in the chat when you're ready, and we can talk about it. The question is, how do we solve this inequality? And it might be a bit easier to think about if you just rewrite it like that. That could help some people. So we need the place where 2x squared minus 21x plus 40 is less than 0. Mutumba's ready. Eris says, yeah, I got it now. Shadow Plays is ready. Okay, guys, how are we going to solve this quadratic inequality? When it comes to solving a quadratic inequality, guys, what we want to do is we want to sketch that inequality. How do we do that? Well, the first thing we do is we solve the quadratic as if it was an equation. We solve the quadratic as if it was an equation. That's going to allow us to find the x-intercepts of the quadratic. So how would we solve this if it was 2x squared minus 21x plus 40 is less than 0? When it comes to solving a quadratic, guys, we have a few different methods. One of them is completing the square. We don't really use that one. One of them is factorizing, and the other one is using the quadratic formula. Now, we factorize whenever we can generally. Here it's going to be pretty tricky because we have a number next to the x squared. However, let me just have a quick look. Yep, it is still going to be possible to factorize. So we could solve this using the quadratic formula, minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, where a in this case would be 2, b would be minus 21, and c would be 40, etc., etc. However, we can actually still factorize this. What would it factorize to? Well, here we have a 2 next to our x squared. So we're going to have to start our first bracket with 2x, and our second bracket is going to start with an x. We now need to find two numbers which multiply to give positive 40 and add to give minus 21, when one of them is multiplied by 2x and one of them is multiplied by x. So, two numbers which multiply to give positive 40 and add to give minus 21x when one of them is times by 2x and the other is times by x. Guys, what are they going to be? Well, first off, they're both going to have to be negative. Why? Because they add to make a negative and times to make a positive. So then what we do is we look at the different factors of our 40. We have 1 and 40, so we could go with minus 1 and minus 40, but 40 is way too big. We could go with minus 2 and minus 20, but they're going to be way too big again. 4 and 10, we could think about that, but that's also going to not end up working out. What we're actually going to find, guys, is that we can do this by having a minus 8 in the second bracket and a minus 5 in the first. Minus 8 in the second bracket and a minus 5 in the first. Now, how did I get that? I just did process of elimination in my head, and I tried all of the different combinations, and I found that when we do 2x times by minus 8, that gives us minus 16x. And when we do minus 5 times by x, that gives us minus 5x. And when we combine those together, we get minus 21x, which is what we need in the middle. So the method there, guys, is going to be to use trial and error, process of elimination. There are a couple of different methods, but for solving these ones by factorizing, guys, I would recommend using trial and error. Based on this, guys, what would be the solutions? Well, now we want to find the values of x which make both of these brackets equal to 0. In the case of the right-hand bracket, if x was equal to 8, the bracket would be equal to 0. And in the case of the left-hand bracket, and that's because 8 minus 8 is equal to 0, and in the case of the left-hand bracket, in order for 2x minus 5 to be equal to 0, x would have to be equal to positive 2.5. Why is that, guys? That's because 2 times by 2.5 is 5, and 5 minus 5 gives us 0. We could also think of it as being an equation. 2x minus 5 equals 0, add 5 to both sides, 2x equals 5. Divide both sides by 2, x equals 2.5 again, or you could also write that as 5 over 2. But either way, you're going to get the same number. So we then go on to sketch this, and this gives us the x-intercepts of 2.5 and 8. Because it's a quadratic, it's going to have this it's going to have this U shape. And then we look back at our original equation. What do we need? We need this to be less than 0. Where's that going to be, guys? That is going to be the region of the graph which is below the x-axis. That's going to be where the value of this is less than 0. Between what values of x is the graph below 0? Well, it's below 0 between 2.5 and 8, where it crosses the axes. So what we can say, guys, for our answer is that 2.5 is less than x, which is less than 8. In other words, x is between 2.5 and 8. Guys, if you got that one, superb work. Nice that my tripod has just got its charge back as well. So I'm going to plug my phone back in and get things set up. There we go. Looking at the chat, guys, how did we find that one? That was a very, very difficult page of questions. That second one was grade 9. The first one was between a grade 8 and a grade 9. There we go. Adam Duck said, could you zoom out, please, so we can take a screenshot? Yep, there you go, my friend. There you go. Diani Vasani said, I used quadratic formula, so I got a different answer. So in that case, you would have actually got the same answer. You would have got the same answer. So what that means is that you must have either put the values in wrong for the quadratic formula or simplified wrong, but you would have definitely got the same answers. Yes, you could smoke eclipse. That's a different way of going about it. Nabil Azizi says, what's the name of the topic? 23A was area equals half AB sine C and formulating equations. And the second part was solving quadratic inequalities. Guys, question 24. We're going to be skipping this one because you do need the paper printed out to do it. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds to screenshot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to move on to our final question of the day. Question 25. Pretty sure it's a 5 marker. Yep. Guys, this is definitely up there. It's up there for the top 10 hardest GCSE maths questions of all time. Probably not top 5, but it's up there for the top 10. Guys, I've actually already written out the solution to this one. It's on the next page, just because I know a lot of you are going to want to screenshot this. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to go through it. Then I will talk you through the answer on the next page. Just so you can screenshot it. LQ said, could you just use the calculator mode to solve it? If you mean that previous question, technically, the quadratic solving calculators, I'm pretty sure they're not allowed in GCSEs. But if they are, I mean, I could be wrong. They could have changed it. Then, yeah, there are calculators which can solve quadratics. Hey, Nevin said, I remember I watched your lives last year and I managed to get a grade 9. Hey, that's great to hear, Nevin. That's great to hear. Smoky Clip says, do you have to equal them because it says intersect? Yep, that is exactly right. So, guys, I'm going to give you another few minutes for this, but I'm about to drop a lot of hints. So listen very carefully. The hints are going to be this. We need to find, let me just quickly reread the question. Okay. Step number 1, find the equation of line L in the form y equals mx plus c. Step number 2, use the fact that m is perpendicular to L to find the gradient. It's going to be the negative reciprocal of the gradient of L. Next, because point A has a y-intercept, because line M goes through point A, which has coordinates 0, 2, the y-intercept is going to be 2. Next step, you have 2 equations now in the form y equals mx plus c. Next step, to find where they intersect, solve them as simultaneous equations by equating them. That is going to give you the point of intersection. Then you know the y-intercept of both of the lines. You know the point of interception of both of the lines. You can use that to form a triangle. You can then use half base times by height, and that is going to be your answer. Charlotte says, goodbye, got to go and have tea. Hey, Charlotte, good to have you on this evening. I'm going to say goodbye, superb work. Always a pleasure having you on, bringing the good energy to the chat. Always good to have you on. Maybe those hints gave people some help. Maybe I said a lot too quickly. Kay said, what's this topic called? This is linear graphs, y equals mx plus c, solving simultaneous equations, and graph problem solving. Guys, drop ready in the chat when you're ready for this one. Pretty tricky one. Let's see. A said, NJ, has AMT been on these lives? NJ said, not recently, I don't think. Okay. I think he's actually got a new account called user123456. I'm pretty sure that's AMT. Aisha said ready. Max said ready. Guys, let's get our final question of the day done. And then you know what time it is. It's time for our party. Guys, this is the answer to this one. I did write it out very, very quickly. So it's not the neatest, especially at the bottom. But let's have a look. What's it going to be? Question 25. The straight line L has equation 3x plus 2y equals 17. We're told that the point A has coordinates 0, 2. The straight line M is perpendicular to L and passes through A. Line L crosses the y-axis at point B. Lines L and M intersect at the point C. Work out the area of the triangle ABC. You must show all your working. Guys, step number 1 to answer this question. What's it going to be? Oh, let me just do something actually. There we go. Yeah, step number 1, guys, what's it going to be? We are going to rewrite the equation of the straight line L in the form y equals mx plus c. That is going to make it far easier to work with and far easier to sketch. How do we rearrange it? Well, we need to make y the subject. Step number 1, we're going to subtract 3 from both sides of the equation. We get 2y equals minus 3x plus 17. Next step, we're going to divide both sides by 2 to get the y on its own. We get y equals minus 3 over 2x plus 17 over 2. Bingo. Now we're going to work out the equation of line M. We know that it's a straight line, so it's going to be of the form y equals mx plus c, where m is the gradient and c is the y-intercept. So those are the two things that we need to find. How are we going to find them? Well, first off, the gradient. We know from the question that the straight line M is perpendicular to L. That means that the gradient of M is going to be the negative reciprocal of the gradient of L. We know that the gradient of L is negative 3 over 2. So the gradient of M is going to be the negative reciprocal. So we swap it from a negative to a positive. And then because it's the reciprocal, we flip it. 3 over 2 goes to 2 over 3. So the gradient of our line is going to be 2 over 3. So we now know that it's of the form y equals 2 over 3x plus c because the m is 2 over 3. Now we can also use the fact that it passes through the point A. We know that the point A has coordinates 0, 2. In other words, it's 0 units across and 2 units up. So the y-intercept is going to be 2. 0 units across, 2 units up, so it goes through 2 on the y-axis. What does that tell us, guys? It tells us that the equation is y equals 2 over 3x plus 2. Why? Because our y-intercept c is equal to 2. Where do we go from there? Well, now we have the equation of L and we have the equation of M. We can roughly plot these on our diagram down here in the bottom left. What do we know about the line A? We know it has the line M. We know it has a positive gradient and a y-intercept of 2. So we're going to draw on the y-intercept of 2 roughly. Positive gradient, so it's going to be sloping upwards. What about the line L? Well, this one has a y-intercept of 17 over 2. So that's going to be all the way up here, roughly. And it has a negative gradient, so it's going to be downward sloping. The question then says that the lines L and M intersect at C. So point C over here is where these two lines cross each other. The next step, guys, is going to be to work out where point C is, because let's pretend we don't have that. If we know where point C is, then we have a triangle. We have the coordinates of the points. We can work out the distances and calculate the area. So, finding the coordinates of point C. Well, point C is where this line crosses this line. So, to find the coordinates, we can solve them as simultaneous equations. I did pretty quick algebra here, guys, so have a quick look. Or look carefully, I should say. So this line, 2 over 3x plus 2, is equal to this line, minus 3 over 2x plus 17 over 2. Between this line and this line, I added 3 over 2x to both sides. On the calculator, I just did 2 over 3 plus 3 over 2, got 13 over 6, and I subtracted 2 from both sides. So right-hand side, 17 over 2 minus 2, we get 13 over 2. Moving from this line to this line, what do? Well, 13 over 6 times by x is equal to 13 over 2. We divide both sides by 13 over 6. You type into your calculator 13 over 2 divided by 13 over 6. When you do that, guys, you get x equals 3. Where do we go from there, guys? Now we have a value of x. We can substitute that into either of our equations to find the value of y when x is equal to 3. I chose this equation here. I substituted in x equals 3. Y equals 2 over 3 times by x. So 2 over 3 times by 3 plus 2. You can type that into your calculator. 2 over 3 by 3 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So we get that y is equal to 4 when x is equal to 3. So now we have the coordinates of our point of intersection. Very difficult question here, guys. Final step, we are still going. What's it going to be? We now know that the point C is 3, 4. How's that going to help us? Well, we now have a triangle which I've redrawn down here. And what do we know about that triangle? This length here is going to be the base of our triangle. It's going to be the difference between 17 over 2 and 2. So you do 17 over 2, which is 8.5, minus 2, you get 6.5. And the height over here, well, we go from 0 in the x direction to 3 in the x direction. So the height of that triangle, which is actually the width here, is 3. Where do we go from there, guys? We can use a half times by base times by height. A half by 6.5 is 3.25, by 3, 9.75. Guys, we get our answer. The area of triangle ABC is equal to 9.75. Guys, that was the final question of this paper. And you know what time it is. Talk to me first in the chat, guys. I want some reactions. I know pretty much everybody is going to be saying that was super long. I agree. That was super long. Very difficult question. Long question. Even too long for 5 marks. Let's see. D said don't like it. Ahmed said, please can you zoom out? There you go. What topic is this? This is problem solving with straight lines. It's solving simultaneous equations. It's area of a triangle. It's many different things in one. Ibrahim's Elite Gaming said, thanks, bro. Hey, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. LQ08 said, bro, imagine that in exam conditions. Yeah, I can't lie, guys. That was a long and brutal question. However, talk to me, guys. What time is it? What time is it? Does anybody know what time it is? Hey, Mana Manu, first in the chat, says it's party time, guys. Yes, it is party time. What does party time mean? It means spam the chat with as many emojis as you can. We want the highest energy emojis we can. We want the dancing, we want the disco, we want the party, we want the lightning, we want the strawberries. Come on, Eris in there with the strawberries. Maria's got the lightning out. Ace says party. NJ says party. Yasmin has got a lot of emojis out. Maria says 100, 100, 100, 100. Lightning, 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 lightning. Party, 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 party. Yes, sir. Over on the TikTok, Angels partying. Nia says on top. Come on, Nia's got the magic out. Harami is clapping. And guys, bit of a good energy song just came on. Does anybody know this song? I can't have it on for too long because, copyright and that. But A's partying, Matumba's partying, Purple Box is partying, Adam Ducks is partying, Shadow Plays is partying. A's got that Latino tango dancing out. Eris has got the birthday cake. Come on. A's dancing. Matumba's still partying. A's got those cool love heart emojis out. Guys, the YouTube party's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. TikTok party's still picking up. Mana Manu's partying. Nia's partying, or Naya. However you say that, nice name. Chloe's partying. Guys, superb work this evening. Another day, another past paper complete. Now, Bill's partying. NJ's got those victory cups out. Come on, guys, another day, another past paper complete. It was a difficult one this evening. It was a difficult one yesterday evening. Guys, after today's session, we have 2 days until our paper 2, so we are really into sprint time now. We are in for final preparations. To anybody who's wondering, tomorrow evening, I'm going to be live, or tomorrow afternoon, evening, I'm going to be live, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., doing a higher paper, and 6 p.m. till 8 p.m. doing a foundation paper. Now, there is a very small chance that will change. If it does change, I will make an announcement. Guys, we are going to be live 8 hours in total over the weekend. That's the plan, at least. There's a chance that I'm going to get way burnt out after a couple of hours tomorrow and have to pivot a little bit. The main thing is that I want to make sure that I'm live for 4 hours on Sunday. That's the main thing, because I want to be able to do a higher paper and the foundation paper on Sunday. Quite a few people asking if I can do higher at Excel tomorrow. Tomorrow, the plan is to do 2 AQA papers. So we're going to be doing an AQA higher paper and then an AQA foundation paper. Sunday, we're going to be back on the EdXL. Hey, Chloe, that's great to hear. Maria said, we can do it. Yep, definitely. That's NJ saying, Matt, let's get you to 6K subs. That would be awesome. The YouTube's climbing. I think we started this academic year at about 1,600. So we've gone up 4x in a few months, which has been pretty good. Hopefully in the next few years, guys, we'll bring this to like 100K or something. That'll be cool. Adam is partying. Shadow says, got to go now, but see you on Sunday for a final push. Thank you. Hey, you're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome. See you on Sunday for the final push. Sunday's going to be a very good one, guys. A said we went from 8 viewers on YouTube to 50. Yeah, we did. D says, bye. Aisha's still partying. So good to see Chloe still partying. Hey, I like that combination as well, Chloe. That's actually probably the best combination yet. The disco dancing, the disco ball, and the lightning. What a combo that is. Tyler says, appreciate it, my boy. Hey, you're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome. Vachelor says, bye. Javi says, Sunday I will be there. A says, bye, guys. Yep, guys, let's call it a day. It's been a superb session this evening. Time to chill out. Hopefully for most people, it's 20 past 7. It's a beautiful day outside, at least where I am. Maybe go for a walk. Maybe meet up with some friends or something. Try and chill out as best as you can. We'll be back tomorrow, back on Sunday as well. Thank you very much, Javi. Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, S. Thank you, Amna. Thank you, Vashila. Thank you, D. Thank you, Aisha. Thank you, Matumba. Thank you, Nafila, as ever. You as well, A. You as well, NJ. You as well, Maria. Maria says, I will go to sleep. Yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be doing that. Hey, user 123456, you're very welcome. Chloe, you have a great evening too. Guys, let's call it a day there. Let's call it a day. Superb work this evening, everybody. I will catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for continuing to make this an awesome community. Guys, we're growing more and more every day, and it's good to see. I will catch you either tomorrow or Sunday or both for our final prep ahead of paper 2. Until then, guys, rest up, have some good food, and try and chill out. Guys, hasta luego, arrivederci, ciao, ciao, ciao.